The canvas glowed under the attic skylight, a storm's bruised purple bleeding into the horizon beyond the glass. Clara's brush trembled, tracing the curve of a jawline she knew by heart, not her husband's. Her studio smelled of linseed oil and regret, the air thick with unsaid words. Each stroke felt like a confession, her fingers smudging secrets into the paint. Clara, a portraitist of fading renown, had built her life on capturing truth in faces, but her own truth festered, unspoken. Her auburn hair clung to her sweat-damp neck as she worked, the attic creaking like a conspirator. Downstairs, her husband, Elias, moved through their silent house, his footsteps a metronome of routine. She painted faster, chasing the thrill of forbidden lines, her heart a knot of longing and fear. The portrait wasn't just art, it was her rebellion, her escape, her sin. A memory surfaced, stolen moments in a rain-soaked garden, her lover's breath warm against her ear. The motif of a single crimson ribbon, tied loosely around her wrist, fluttered as she painted, a symbol of her unraveling restraint. Her external goal was to finish this portrait, to immortalize her lover's face. Her internal want was to feel alive again, free from the cage of her marriage. The attic's shadows deepened, and Clara's pulse quickened, sensing an unseen gaze. Was it the storm outside or something closer, watching her betrayals take shape? Clara paused, her brush suspended, as a floorboard groaned below. Elias was climbing the attic stairs, his tread heavier than usual, deliberate. Her heart lurched, paint dripping onto her apron like blood. She covered the portrait with a tarp, the crimson ribbon catching on the easel's edge, unraveling slightly. The door creaked open, and Elias stood there, his gray eyes sharp, holding a letter sealed with red wax. He didn't speak, but his gaze cut through her, pinning her secrets to the wall. The letter was the narrative catalyst, proof he knew of her affair, though she didn't yet grasp its weight. Her mind raced back to a memory, her lover, Theo, slipping her a note under a cafe table, his fingers brushing hers, promising eternal devotion. Now, Elias's silence was a guillotine, her external goal shifting from finishing the portrait to protecting her secret. Her internal want burned brighter to escape the suffocation of her life with Elias. She stepped forward, paint-stained hands trembling, trying to read his expression. The attic's air grew heavier, the storm outside clawing at the skylight. Elias turned, leaving the letter on a stool, its wax seal gleaming like an accusation. Clara's breath caught, her fingers twitching toward the ribbon, its frayed end a mirror to her fraying composure. Clara's fingers broke the wax seal, her pulse a drumbeat against her ribs. The letter was from Theo, her lover, his handwriting a familiar scrawl, but its words were cryptic, urgent, hinting at danger. She shoved it into her apron, the crimson ribbon tightening around her wrist like a warning. She needed to see him. Slipping out into the rain-soaked night, she reached the old greenhouse where they met, its glass panes fogged and dripping. Theo stood inside, his dark coat glistening, his painter's hands restless. Their eyes locked, a current of longing and fear sparking between them. He moved closer, his breath warm, but his gaze darted to the shadows, as if expecting pursuit. Clara felt the weight of Elias's knowledge, though she couldn't voice it. A memory flickered, Theo sketching her in this same greenhouse, his laughter soft as the rain. Now, tension coiled in his frame, their chemistry electric yet fractured by unspoken truths. The crimson ribbon caught on a thorn as she reached for him, tearing slightly, its frayed edges a symbol of their fragile bond. The stakes were clear, their affair was no longer a secret, and the greenhouse, once a sanctuary, felt like a trap. Clara returned to the attic, her coat heavy with rain, the letter from Theo tucked against her racing heart. The canvas waited, half hidden under its tarp, the portrait's unfinished eyes seeming to follow her. She lit a single candle, its flame trembling like her resolve. The storm had eased, but the air held a damp chill, smelling of wet wood and turpentine. Her external goals sharpened: protect the portrait and her secret, no matter the cost. Her internal want gnawed deeper to reclaim the freedom Theo's touch promised. She began painting again, each stroke a defiance against Elias's silent accusation. The crimson ribbon, now frayed at one end, dangled from her wrist, catching the candlelight. A memory wove through her, Theo's fingers tracing her palm in the greenhouse, his whispered plans for a life unbound. Now, the attic felt smaller, the walls pressing in as Elias's footsteps echoed below, deliberate and unhurried. Clara's brush faltered when she heard a new sound, a faint scratching, like a key testing a lock. The world had shifted since the letter, her secret was a live wire, and every moment risked exposure. She painted faster, the portrait's features sharpening, as if Theo himself might step from the canvas to save her. The scratching stopped, replaced by a knock sharp, insistent. Clara hid the letter in a paint-splattered drawer, her hands trembling. It was Margot, the florist from town, her wiry frame bundled in a raincoat. Margot's sharp eyes missed nothing, her presence an odd comfort yet a new risk. She'd seen Clara with Theo once, near the greenhouse, and now her gaze lingered on the crimson ribbon, as if it held answers. Clara's mind flashed to a memory, Margot arranging roses at the market, her sly smile hinting at secrets she kept for others. An obstacle emerged. Margot hinted at whispers in town, rumors of Clara's late-night walks. Tentatively, Clara asked for her silence, offering a small painting in exchange. Margot agreed, but her smile was too knowing, her alliance fragile. The air smelled of damp petals and wax, the candles' flame sputtering as they spoke. Clara's external goal tightened: keep Margot's loyalty while hiding the portrait. Her internal want surged to trust someone, anyone, with her truth. But Margot's departure left a chill, her footsteps faded, and Clara sensed the rumors tightening like a noose around her secret. Clara sat alone, the attic silent save for the drip of a leak in the corner. The portrait loomed, its gaze accusing, as if Theo himself questioned her courage. Protecting it meant lying to Elias, risking his quiet rage. Her internal want to feel alive clashed with the cost: her marriage, her reputation, her safety. She touched the crimson ribbon, its frayed edge a reminder of her unraveling life. A memory surged, her wedding day, Elias's hand steady on hers, promising stability she now despised. The letter burned in her mind, Theo's words urging her to flee, but escape meant abandoning her art, her home. Downstairs, Elias was sorting papers, his movements methodical, as if cataloging her betrayal. Clara's brush moved again, but each stroke felt heavier, the paint thick with guilt. The scratching sound returned, fainter, from the attic's far corner, a mouse, or something else. Her heart pounded, the candle's flame nearly out. To protect her secret, she'd have to burn the letter, a piece of Theo she couldn't bear to lose. The ribbon slipped, pooling on the floor, its red stark against the dusty wood. Clara's candle sputtered out, leaving her in the attic's gray dawn, the portrait's eyes glinting under the tarp. She clutched the crimson ribbon, its frayed threads curling like veins. The letter from Theo, now hidden in the drawer, felt like a live coal against her thoughts. She descended to the kitchen, where Elias sat, his coffee untouched, a photograph in his hand. It was her and Theo, caught mid-laugh in the greenhouse, the moment frozen in grainy black and white. Her breath stopped, the illusion of secrecy shattered. Elias's eyes, cold as slate, held no questions, only certainty. A memory flooded her, Theo's hand brushing hers as they danced in the rain, her heart reckless with joy. Now, that joy was a trap. Her external goal to protect the portrait crumbled, her secret was exposed. Her internal want to feel alive felt like a betrayal of herself. The ribbon slipped through her fingers, pooling on the floor, its red a stark accusation. Elias slid the photograph across the table, his silence louder than any scream. Clara's world tilted, the kitchen's familiar smells of coffee and damp wood now suffocating. Clara stood frozen, the photograph a guillotine over her heart. Elias rose, his movements slow, deliberate, and left the room, the photograph still on the table. Her mind churned, deny everything or confess and beg forgiveness. Her external goal shifted to salvage what she could of her life. Her internal want screamed for Theo, for freedom, but the cost loomed: losing her home, her art, her safety. A memory surged, her first exhibition, Elias's proud smile as critics praised her work, a bond now fractured. The crimson ribbon lay abandoned on the floor, its red fading in the light. She could destroy the portrait, erase Theo's face, and pretend loyalty to Elias. Or she could run to Theo, embracing the chaos of truth. Her fingers twitched, itching for her brush, for the attic's sanctuary. The kitchen clock ticked, each second a demand for decision. Clara's breath hitched, she grabbed the photograph, her choice forming like a storm. She would confront Theo, demand answers, and decide her path from there. The ribbon, left behind, seemed to pulse with her unresolved heart. Clara fled to the greenhouse, the photograph crumpled in her pocket, her breath sharp with panic and purpose. The glass structure loomed, fogged and dripping, a fragile cage for her truth. Theo was there, sketching in a notebook, his face taut with worry. She thrust the photograph at him, her eyes demanding explanation. His hands shook, admitting he'd been careless, that someone had followed them. The crimson ribbon's absence felt like a wound, she'd left it behind, severing her last tether to restraint. A memory flickered, Theo's voice promising a future, his sketches of her filled with hope. Now, hope was a blade. Clara's choice burned. She would run with Theo, abandoning Elias and her old life. She kissed him, fierce and final, sealing her path. The greenhouse door creaked, a shadow moved outside. Her external goal was now escape, her internal want a desperate grasp for freedom. The portrait, still in the attic, was a ticking bomb. Clara grabbed Theo's hand, their footsteps crunching on gravel as they fled, the point of no return crossed. Clara and Theo hid in a crumbling barn on the town's edge, the air thick with dust and the scent of rotting hay. Moonlight slipped through broken slats, painting their faces in slivers of silver. Clara's heart thudded, her external goal escape with Theo now a fragile plan stretched taut by fear. Her internal want, to feel alive, pulsed beneath her dread, but the cost loomed heavier than ever. The photograph, still crumpled in her pocket, felt like a brand against her skin. A memory wove through her, Theo's laughter in the greenhouse, his sketches capturing her in vibrant strokes, now a distant echo. The crimson ribbon was gone, left in the kitchen, its absence a raw ache, symbolizing her severed past. Theo's hand gripped hers, his breath uneven, as they waited for dawn to slip away. Outside, the wind carried faint sounds, footsteps, or just the night's deceit. Clara's mind replayed Elias's cold gaze, his silence a weapon. The barn's stillness was a lie, a pause before the inevitable storm, and Clara braced for what she'd unleashed. The barn door splintered open, Elias's silhouette filling the frame, his gray eyes glinting like steel. He held a flashlight, its beam cutting through the dark, pinning Clara and Theo like prey. Her external goal escape shattered as Elias stepped forward, the photograph now in his hand, its edges worn from his grip. Clara's internal want flared. She wanted to scream her truth, but fear choked her. Theo stood, shielding her, his painter's hands clenched, ready to fight. Elias's silence broke with a single gesture. He tossed the photograph at their feet, its image a silent accusation. A memory surged, Clara's wedding vows, Elias's steady voice promising forever, now a vow of vengeance. The confrontation erupted. Theo lunged, but Elias sidestepped, his flashlight swinging like a club. Clara screamed, her voice swallowed by the barn's echo. The air smelled of sweat and fear, the moonlight cold as a blade. Elias didn't strike again, his gaze was enough, heavy with betrayal. Clara's choice to run had led to this, and the crimson ribbon's absence felt like a lost shield. Clara's knees buckled as Elias stepped closer, his flashlight lowered but his eyes unrelenting. To save Theo, to end this, she had to give up something vital: her art, her truth, her freedom. She stepped between them, her voice trembling, offering to return home, to destroy the portrait, to bury her affair. Her internal want to feel alive crumbled under the weight of survival. Elias's gaze softened, but only slightly, a flicker of pain beneath his rage. A memory stabbed her, her first painting, Elias framing it with pride, now a relic of a life she'd betrayed. Theo's hand grazed hers, urging her to run, but she shook her head, the sacrifice made. She'd go back, face Elias's judgment, and burn the portrait to save Theo's life. The barn's air grew heavier, the scent of damp wood and fear choking her. The crimson ribbon, absent, seemed to haunt the shadows, its frayed memory a symbol of what she'd lost. Clara turned to Theo, her eyes pleading forgiveness, and stepped toward Elias, her heart a hollow canvas. Clara followed Elias back to the house, the night air sharp with frost, her steps heavy as if wading through ash. The barn's confrontation left her hollow, Theo's desperate gaze burned into her memory. Inside, the attic waited, the portrait still hidden under its tarp, a silent witness to her betrayal. The air smelled of linseed oil and stale coffee, the house creaking under the weight of their silence. Her external goal escape with Theo was gone, replaced by a grim resolve to face Elias's judgment. Her internal want to feel alive lay shattered, a faint pulse beneath her guilt. A memory clawed at her, Theo's sketch of her, his pencil capturing her smile, now a relic of a lost life. The crimson ribbon, left behind, haunted her thoughts, its frayed red a symbol of her broken rebellion. Elias moved to the fireplace, tossing the photograph into the flames, its edges curling black. Clara's chest tightened, watching her past burn, the attic's shadows swallowing her resolve. Clara climbed to the attic, her hands trembling as she uncovered the portrait. Theo's painted eyes stared back, vivid yet unreachable, a mirror to her loss. She lit a candle, its flame weak, the air thick with turpentine and regret. Her life with Elias resumed, a fragile truce marked by silence, his gaze no longer accusing but distant, a stranger's. Her external goal dissolved, survival meant submission, not escape. Her internal want flickered, she yearned for the spark Theo ignited, but it was buried under duty. A memory surfaced, her first painting lesson, Elias's steady hand guiding hers, a bond now eroded. The crimson ribbon's absence ached, its symbolic weight now a ghost in her mind. Clara set her brush down, unable to paint, her art tainted by sacrifice. The town whispered of her return, Margot's knowing glance at the market a reminder of her shame. The attic, once her sanctuary, was now a prison, its walls etched with her choices. Clara's world was rebuilt, but it was a shadow, forever changed by the affair's cost. Clara stood at the attic window, dawn breaking in muted pinks, the storm long gone. The portrait remained, unfinished, Theo's face a quiet accusation she couldn't destroy. She touched the canvas, her fingers tracing his jaw, the paint dry and cold. A memory whispered, Theo tying the crimson ribbon around her wrist, his smile promising forever, now a lie. The ribbon, lost in the kitchen, reappeared in her mind, its frayed red motif evolved into regret. Her internal want to feel alive was a faint echo, drowned by the weight of her choices. Elias's footsteps sounded below, steady, routine, a life she'd chosen to preserve. Clara stepped back, leaving the portrait uncovered, a silent confession. The attic's air was still, the scent of paint faded, replaced by the crisp dawn. She closed her eyes, the ribbon's red blooming in her mind, no longer a rebellion but a scar. Her story ended here, in the quiet, her heart a canvas of what might have been.